I felt very separated from my peers and from my classmates. A big challenge that I had while I was in foster care was clothing. Also, I would get food donations from school, and that was always kind of embarrassing to walk out with big grocery bags in front of all my peers.
When I first met Winter, she was mad. She wasn't given any choices about what was really happening to her. She was just at the mercy of all of the adults in her life.
It was very hard to focus on school when I was constantly in that fight or flight, not knowing if I was going to have a house or food or how long I was going to be here or when I was going back with my mom.
If you go to bed one night not knowing where you're going to sleep the next night because your placement is unstable or it's volatile, young people lose lots of progress.
I would just sleep all day from the depression and malnourishment. It was also very traumatic to be separated from my sisters. When we were small children, it was really hard. So for that to be happening again while we were teenagers was so incredibly scary.
When foster youth are bouncing around between houses, between caregivers, a lot of educational milestones get missed. And so part of our role as an education specialist is to keep track of all the things.
When I first started working with Sherry, I was failing a lot of my classes. I didn't even see the point of doing school because I didn't really have any motivation or even an idea of a future past tomorrow.
The magic happens when you are following the lead of that young person and trying to discover what it is that makes them want to do something. Are they motivated by an experience? Are they motivated just by the idea of the success that they're looking to have?
One of the first questions that Sherry asked me was, what colleges do you know of in Washington? And I said, well, I think I know about UW. Other than that, I think there's a community college near my house. I didn't know just how many colleges that there were and all of the jobs that I could have if I went to college.
I first started working with Winter, and then later Bethany came onto my caseload, and then lastly was Ari.
I first met Sherry. We sat down at like Starbucks and all met each other, and it was instant chemistry. Sherry's very warm and friendly, so we immediately felt really comfortable with her.
Sherry was amazing. I'm so grateful that I got to work with Sherry. I think she helped me grow into the person I am today, and I think my sisters would agree.
Being in foster care, a lot of kids, I would say, don't ever feel like they're really understood in school. I feel like they just oftentimes feel like a nuisance, or like they're stupid, or like they're not enough. So having your own personal advocate, it really helps so much to have someone cheerleading you and helping you through the process.
To be able to know that a kid has a need and that you work for an organization that will provide for that need to be met is really good for them, and it's also really good for us. Winter learned to drive. Ari went to camp. Bethany took swimming lessons. They all did things that I'm not sure they would have even thought to do. Those different experiences are transformative.
The spark that got me moving was definitely having something that was worth working for.
When I think about Winter and her kind of trajectory through high school, it was when the switch flipped and she decided that she wanted to go to college.
I completed my associates at Shoreline Community College, and now I'm studying elementary education at WGU.
She would have always been a great teacher, that's who she is, but based on just the way that her life has gone, she's gonna bring all of that, and she's gonna notice the other kids that need it.
I'm hoping that I can help kids in ways that some teachers don't even think about. And it really does feel like it heals my childhood trauma, being able to help another kid that might be in a similar situation.
These guys are resilient, but they also are just without the tools that young people have who live in a consistent place.
We were always dependent on something else. So working with Sherry really opened so many doors of becoming independent and having my own career, which is a big deal because me, Beth, and Ari are like the first ones from my family to really focus on our career.
When I think of Winter and Ari and Bethany, I'm just struck by how much of an honor it is to have been in a place like Treehouse where I get to support a young person who may not have support in other areas of their lives. And what a privilege it has been to watch them grow up, and how I just can't wait to see what comes next.